But welcome, Joan. Let me just provide a brief introduction. So Joan is the Chief Marketing Officer at MindTickle with over 2 decades of experience in B2B marketing and sales. Joan has honed her expertise in leading high-performance teams at innovative companies, including Druva, Informatica, Oracle, and Cisco. Now the time is yours, Joan. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. So sharing my screen here. So great introductions. Again, I'm Joan Jenkins, CMO here at MindTickle. And, as Pete mentioned, over 20 years experience managing marketing and sales as well. So being in the Valley for over 20 years, but happy to be at MindTickle now. If you don't know MindTickle, so it's really an all-in-one platform for revenue enablement. So really helping the GTM teams consistently grow their revenue. And today I'm presenting some top 5 AI strategies for sales results. I know a lot of us are involved with GTM teams, either working with GTM teams or you're on GTM teams. And there's a lot going on with sales tech right now and a lot going on, new enhancements with AI, which I'll cover today. So just a quick view on what is the dilemma? What are we trying to solve here? A lot of stats. Some of you have probably seen some of these stats before. We're all trying to meet the number, trying to help our company increase revenue. 20% of our salespeople bring in 80% of the revenue. So really those top sales reps are the ones that are delivering that revenue. Only 42% of reps are meeting their quota. Conversion rates are down, especially with those companies who have the poor buyer engagement strategies. And it's not just limited to new business. We have customer churn happening that's very expensive. We're also all trying to pivot as we have new market shifts. I think every 3 months or even more than that, we're seeing some different market shifts, and we're all needing to pivot. So, it's tough out there for GTM teams currently. We have some shared challenges around, like I said, the speed of change and grappling with that. As a sales team, sales processes have gotten more complicated and they extended. So it typically takes longer to close a deal. There's some coaching challenges with, I know coaching managers, managers don't have time to coach, that sort of thing. And then content. I hear this from every conference I go to. Somebody raises this, but there's so much content, but getting sales reps to get the right content for the deal is a struggle. So we all have the common goal of, across GTM teams and really those working with GTM teams to achieve our revenue goals. We definitely want to have that great customer experience, so they'll be coming back for more and purchasing more. And then competition, of course, is tight, so we want to outperform our competition. So just to find a word on the challenge, it's also across GTM teams, there's a challenge of silos. So the danger is that you don't share data and there's not that collective, marketing's worried about content, but, are we getting those data and insights into, the sales team and back and forth? So there's a silo that is also a challenge. So really AI and can help. So with sales tech, we're really seeing this complete pivot into some very specific actions and strategies where AI can help bridge that gap and help us get to where we need to go. I'm going to focus on 5 areas to drive revenue and scale with AI. Some of these areas, as you'll see, I'll explain kind of current state and then near-term future state with AI, or in some cases where we are today with AI. I'm limiting it to these five areas because I think this is where activities are happening the most and we're getting the most out of AI from what I can see that's happening in the market. So first of all, training. So this is an area, where it's getting impacted quite a bit. So as a foundation, you need to make sure that your reps have the training that they need, have the skills that they need. And this is becoming more and more difficult across the board because every rep's different. There's different skill sets. There's different needs that you have out of the reps. And, we're all used to this bite-size content as well. So this is hugely important. It needs to be personalized based on the rep. So AI can definitely help in this space. I mentioned coaching earlier. This is an area that, and I'll definitely cover this, a bit more later, but this is an area that's going to be totally changed with AI around coaching. So more to come on that, as well as digital sales rooms. So DSRs. So this is, if you haven't started using DSRs, you're in a go-to-market team, definitely run and do this. I was at a recent Gartner conference, CSO conference, and our head, analyst said, hey, here's the 5 things you need to be doing, and DSRs was one of them. I really think this is something to watch, and it's going to just continue to evolve. Right content, right persona. I mean, I think we all know this. We all grapple with this. It's hugely important, and AI is already having a big impact here. Lastly, this is definitely an area we're probably all taking advantage of. If you're not, definitely do that. This is around call recording and insights. We want to record our calls, get the insights. We don't want to have to go through every transcript and figure out the actions from that. So all of these areas are being revolutionized with AI and making improvements, in sales tech in each of these areas. So I'm going to cover each area, just a couple slides on each area, and give you an update on where we are now, how AI is changing the game. So first, enablement, training. The name of the game now is you really have to deliver that modern, engaging, high-impact enablement. There is no one-size-fits-all training. It just really doesn't get the job done. You have to be personalized to each individual. But we're all struggling with making sure that we deliver that adaptive approach. In addition to the personalized based on the individual, you really need to map that to what your company needs. So based on where you are, within your business, environment, based on your competitors, based on, you really need that personalized based on the individual, but then also what business outcomes are you trying to deliver? So training enablement across the board has to deliver this. And AI can help get you there. So it makes it much easier to quickly and easily deliver that training, especially as we look, budgets are tight, people hours are tight. So AI can help you deliver that quickly. It also helps you keep pace with the change. I mentioned earlier how markets continuously changing. So whether it's competitors changing, new products launching, tracking in a new industry, all of this, AI helps reduce that barrier to content creation and allows you to keep your reps up to date and really dealing with the challenges at every moment. So a few examples here, program creation. So AI, through Copilot can really just, you put in the content, it creates those program structures. So with some common use cases, but it's simple. There's some best practices, program structures, and you just create it on the fly. It can do things like assessment. So you're putting in the training content, PDFs, videos, anything you want, and it just immediately creates an assessment, and you can define that assessment, whether that's, hey, here's the level of difficulty that I want to place in the assessment, here's the number of questions. So you create those parameters and it can deliver. And then I'm going to touch on this piece, the practice pitches. This is huge. So Copilot can really create realistic scenarios. Reps can practice their pitch, and you'll see how AI is really changing that game. So again, this is a space that's changing quite a bit, but it's only going to, AI is only going to, have more of an impact here going forward with tailored, on the fly, quick, enablement and training at scale. So role play. So this is, really delivering that real-time coaching that I mentioned earlier. So I'll give you just a baseline of role plays if you haven't tried it, you haven't heard about it, and then I'll talk about how AI is changing the game here. So role plays really are the new coaching. Online role play, it allows sellers to practice. So really practicing until it's perfect. So they feel confident with the messaging, they nail the delivery. And you can do a lot around this from a GTM standpoint, as far as setting benchmarks. You define the winning behaviors, you make sure that the reps are doing that. I mentioned the personalized based on your business earlier. So really informing and reinforcing training and enablement based on these role plays and tracking performance. Some common use cases I see are, cold calling, discovery, objection handling, competitive differentiation. So all of these you can set up, and as a rep or seller, you can practice. And again, it's that we all know if we do a presentation, if we practice that presentation, we're going to deliver it better than if we don't practice the presentation. It's really muscle memory, and it's feeling confident with every conversation. With role plays, your peers, your managers can provide feedback. And that way the reps aren't practicing with their customers. They're practicing on their own. They're delivering with their customers. AI here is phenomenal. I think this is really going to just take off. And if you watch this space, this is one of the things, as I attend conferences and I talk to people about this, everyone is blown away by this. And the way it's transforming things is, it's funny too. I had a conversation with the analyst recently, and he said, traditional coaching as we knew it is dead. And he was really talking about AI as the next wave of coaching. And so here's some examples. I'll describe what I mean. So with Copilot, you can give it a few prompts, and it can create real role play scenarios. So you can say, this company, I want this. I want AI to here's a persona, here's the company type, you can enter all these prompts and criteria. And then the rep can actually practice with an AI buyer. So that AI can have a real conversation with you and, kind of pretend that they are the actual buyer. And you can just have a real conversation with the AI buyer. So traditional role plays, as I mentioned before, you would record that presentation, send it to your manager, send it to a peer. You would get feedback. There might be a week delay. You get the feedback, or you would practice. But now with AI, it's instant. So you're practicing with the AI buyer, having realistic scenarios, and you're getting instant feedback. So, and you can get graded. So you practice 4 times, you get graded, and you don't have that fear of judgment if you send it off to your manager. Now, obviously, if you have AI grading you, giving you feedback, then once you get it to where you want, you can then send it off to your manager or to your peer. But you get that instant feedback, so it saves time. An example here that I've seen is, of course, AI will give you, will tell you you're using too many ums, your pace of speech, your sentiment. So not just, hey, you're using too many ums, but your sentiment, your filler words, giving constructive suggestions for improvement. And it removes that manager bottleneck as well. So I think this is going to be the norm here pretty soon. And I'm super excited about that. It's really changing the game. And by practicing that pitch, of course, you close deals faster. I'm so excited about that. We have a customer, I just want to mention Cisco, because there was a large pitch contest where they looked basically it's the largest one in their history, where they had over 3,000 sellers, and they used AI to do the grading. And of course, we estimated that it saved 38 weeks of manager time reviewing. Imagine if all the managers had to review all of these pitches across over 3,000 sellers. That would be completely different. This was fast, it was easy, and you see some results here with a rise in average deal size. I mean, it really impacts your deal when you can practice these pitches here. The other area I'm super excited about and how A is having an impact is really around digital sales rooms. Again, DSRs, you'll probably heard a bit about them. If you haven't, then you're going to continue to hear about them here soon. So basically what these are, they're portals where buyers and sellers can engage with each other. So they can engage, they can collaborate. As a seller, you can make sure that the right content is in there and it's getting in front of your buyer. So your buyers can engage with the content. It's pretty cool. So it's all around consolidating communication, collaboration, content. And the buyers can come in as they want. So it's at their own pace, it's self-serve, it gives them a place to research, do their buying tasks. But also the cool side, on the flip side, is it gives insights to the sellers of what you're interested in. So, you might have 5 different people in the buying committee, they're clicking on different things. It gives you insight into those buyers. And so the seller can have meaningful conversations when they see that input. And one interesting side note as well, if you get an unknown user that comes in to the digital sales room, let's say, somebody's manager who you didn't have in the buying process, or maybe somebody in another group comes in and they're unknown, you can get that enriched and added to your CRM. So you're getting more informed, but then also the buyer's getting informed as well on their own, at their own pace. And then they can reach out to you, of course, along the way. The technology is relatively new, but the key thing to look for if you're evaluating a digital sales room is make sure that the vendor delivers those insights. Make sure that you're getting that granular data, because it isn't just about that collaboration. It really is about those key insights and understanding what your buyers are looking at. And you can even track things like mutual action plans and other things in here. What we're seeing is DSRs are driving improvement in win rates and deal size and really some core key deal metrics. We just ran an analysis with one of our customers on really that customer performance. We were looking at with DSRs, without DSRs, what was the difference? And there was definitely a huge difference in not only winning more deals, but the type of deals that they were winning, and even expansion opportunities we're finding as well in some of these. So AI, so DSR is pretty cool. Pretty cool now with AI. It's adding that extra layer of automation that just makes it even smoother. So buyer co-pilot, so buyers can get answers to questions, so they can be in there talking to AI, get answers to their questions quickly, on their own, and supporting their buying path. So not only, again, does this benefit the buyers, but it benefits the sellers because they know what questions the buyer's asking and they can inform on that. Automated rooms, so this is pretty cool with eventually what the technology will be there to where the rooms will be automated. So basically you can create a room based on a persona on the fly. So it's really going to supercharge these DSRs and make it more personalized. And then of course content, delivering that relevant content to every visitor in the room. So if you have different people coming in from an account, you're going to get that personalized view of the content, of even where you're at in a deal stage, you're going to get that personalization. So super cool stuff. And this all supports really the self-service model that we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of our buyers, as you probably seen yourself. I mean, we all want to research, we all want to do things on our own. And then of course we want to engage with the seller as well, but there's a lot that we can find online, we can do ourselves. And so AI is only going to support that. One quick note, this was a Syrian, a customer that we had worked with, their contract lifecycle management solution. And this was just really one deal they told us about, where they saw over 100 unique visitors from the buying group going in, really researching over 1,000 hours they did on just self-service engagement without engaging with the seller and engaging with the seller, as needed and when they needed. And they definitely found that this had a huge impact on securing that deal. All right, so content. AI, we all know AI's had a huge, significant impact on content, and really your team's ability to leverage the content to drive their sales motion. So no longer do they have to spend hours looking or creating content on their own anymore. These recommended assets are served up to them. So this has already has had an impact. Now with Copilot tools, what we're finding is that they can find the information and content faster. And really in real time. So, and then admins on the flip side are better able to maintain and deliver relevant, up-to-date libraries with AI. So this is an area that it's had an impact on, that's going to continue to have an impact on as well. But what are some of the areas that, AI is poised to really deliver and revolutionize the way your team leverages content? So customization. So, existing content customization tools, they're typically rules-based. They're really less automated than you would think. And they're usually somewhat costly to set up and maintain. So AI is going to make it easier for sellers to, have content really for any interaction, and always make it relevant and localized. So it's really serving that hyper personalized content and content creation. So you're going to be able to create content from scratch with AI tools. So this is already out there, but it's going to continue to get better and really be embedded inside more of your existing content and tech. And so this will be taking learnings based on engagement and performance and delivering up fresh content. Insights are only going to get better as well with optimization. And one of the other areas, lastly, of what I would say on content is being a marketer. Content is always an area where you're always trying to prove the ROI. You're always trying to say, well, I know the content was used, but don't really know how much impact it had on the deal. But AI is poised to really help deliver that ROI. How is content being used? What persona used that content? What, how did that impact revenue? And so we're going to be able to get more granular on that with AI. And then finally, call insights. So call insights, what I mean by this is call recordings, getting the insights from those recordings. This area has gotten more and more sophisticated, I would say. And you're really able to gain those insights and pretty specific insights into each call. So what this does is and we use this across our whole company at MindTickle too. Obviously, not just sales, just across the board. We use it in so many different ways, but basically sharing these calls with managers and teammates. If you're in sales, so you're sharing knowledge, you're making informed deal decisions based on these insights. Really analyzing calls in seconds. So it's pretty amazing, and delivering those insights without needing to shift through all these call transcripts. But it's also listening to, your top performers. I mentioned at the start that 20% of your top reps are generating the most revenue. So listening and understanding it, getting insights from those winning behaviors is key. And this does that. Now, AI is already part of a lot of these call insights for sure. But what is AI doing, and will be doing around analyzing these calls? So it's really about simplifying, the rep follow-ups with these summaries and insights, and that technology is already here. Also enriching your CRM with these recordings and with summaries, and then capabilities as well of just making sure that you can have that chat and within the technology, and making sure Copilot can answer deal or rep related questions instantly, and you can have that interaction back and forth. So it's really all about boosting performance. You're measuring rep performance with these call insights. They're able to get that information, understanding your buyers, and enhancing the outcomes here. So I know I covered a lot with the 5 areas, but I just wanted to touch on each of them because they're all so important and help everyone better understand what we're seeing with AI and how AI is making a difference. I have just, here's one example with Data Axle around the call insights. And the way that they use this is really around rep onboarding and reducing new rep onboarding time, which is definitely a use case that we see a lot. And it helped them identify gaps and provide coaching to close these gaps. I just have a couple of slides on MindTickle. Just want to let everyone know who we are and what we do for a couple of minutes here. So who we are: a leader in revenue enablement, over 1 million users globally, G2 leader. We did just win the bronze award Stevie Award for DSR. So I put that in there. I was excited about that, especially as you can see, I'm excited about DSR. So one of the benefits, I'll just touch on this with one platform, is within each of these areas, you share the data. So there's definitely point solutions out there, but the benefit of the platform is, the DSR is sharing information, enablement sharing information, call insights is sharing data. So across the board, you're sharing that data and you're informing your training, or you're informing your DSRs or your coaching and so forth. We love our customers. A key piece of this of how we help them is around personalizing that training, faster onboarding, increasing sales productivity, increasing win rates, making sure that training is where it needs to be, and then that one platform for enablement, content, coaching, conversational intelligence. So just a quick snippet about MindTickle if you didn't already know. And then lastly, just want to say, if you have any questions, any follow-up questions you think about, anything afterwards, please connect with me. I always like to hear it and engage. And thank you for inviting me. And with that, I know we have a couple of minutes.
Yeah, Joan, thank you so much for sharing a lot of insights here. So I was writing some things down, keeping track of it. But one thing that really stood out to me, if I can ask you a little bit about this, is the real-time coaching. That seems like that could really deliver of everything that I heard. I was like, wow, that impact, the time that you can save. I mean, you have multiple elements here. Sorry, let me just lower the slide here. So multiple elements of benefits that I'm seeing. So I want to get your thoughts. You're saving time. You're getting reps, employees better trained to be able to help accelerate their how fast they're able to produce and work. And then on top of that, you are optimizing through the automation, right? So there's a lot of it's not just one singular benefit. It looks like there's multiple. Any other thoughts on that? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think this is truly one of my favorite topics because I think this will revolutionize sales tech as we know it. Sales managers with time constraints, they don't have a lot of time for this coaching, especially, nowadays, and peers don't have time for coaching. But sales managers, sales team, they really need that coaching. And sometimes, when you're practicing, if I'm practicing a pitch, for example, if I was practicing this pitch from today and I needed to send it off to my manager, I wouldn't want to send the first couple of times I did it. I'd want to practice and practice and practice.
Mm-hmm.
But I still want feedback. I still want to improve my pitch. And so with AI, you're getting that instant feedback and you're able to say, oh, I didn't realize I said, that many ums, or I didn't realize that maybe it didn't hit the mark with whatever prompt you put in there. You're trying to deliver X, you're doing it to this audience. You might want to consider some of your messaging. You might want to get some feedback on your messaging. And so the AI is doing that. And it's also allowing you to, have that conversation with AI. So, we have an example where we like to show some of our prospects where, one of our sellers is having a conversation with AI and they're asking some tough questions and it's going back and forth. And you can tell the seller is, it feels like a conversation. So the sellers say, oh gosh, how do I answer that? So there's all those components, and then just the saving time. That you're sending off to the manager. Sometimes that's a bottleneck. You're not getting that instant feedback.
Yeah. And so I love the points that you brought up. And then how often is it that we keep the same sales script year over year or the same motion of selling, right? It changes. And so now with AI, to your point, having that option to introduce the new elements and do that in such a way that there's a process already to expedite it and accelerate reps getting in there. That just means we can analyze and test more product marketing and sales enablement.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's funny, we tested getting the manager feedback, getting the AI feedback. And it's funny, AI is a little tougher on you than what we found.
There's no holding back. Yeah.
Which is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely love it. Well, thank you so much, Joan, for joining us, sharing your insights. Again, for those of you that may be joining us or missed the last bit of the slides, you can find Joan on LinkedIn, or you can also find her LinkedIn profile located through our AI Revenue Summit and learn more from Joan and her insights. Thanks so much.
Great. Thank you.